Greetings, my friends. We have just had the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view premium live event, and I'm just going to tell you this. If you want some kind of headline you can wear on a shirt, like this one, 2 + 2 = potato, you can buy it right now on Pro Wrestling Tees. Thought it was pretty damn good. Now, I'm not going to make you wait, even though I should when it comes to audience retention, but I understand what you want to talk about. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And essentially what Triple H did here is when he was coming up for his plans, he went, you know what, that Drew, when he comes back to the British Isles, I think he should always be screwed over, which is going to be the same on the 15th of June 2024, because as of me talking to you on the 16th of June 2024, he is not the World Heavyweight Champion. Dun, dun, dun. Now, there is a lot of discourse about this, which is the main reason I like it, to be completely honest with you, to be completely transparent. If anything happens in pro wrestling where we can get into the nitty-gritty and actually have a conversation, I'm a huge fan of it, which is exactly what this is. But as I have had a few hours to ponder over it and think about it and have people yell at me on Twitter about it, because I said I quite enjoyed it, I am standing true and tested to my original position, because when you get into the weeds, I just think this makes all the sense going forward for World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, in case you haven't seen it, spoilers are coming, obviously, but yes, at the end of the match, Drew McIntyre finally had the thing won. He hit the Claymore kick. He pinned Damian Priest for like a 2,400 million count, but the referee had taken a way gnarly bump before this. Like he had tried to run away to the ring apron because these two hosses were getting in his way when Damian Priest got knocked into this poor man who went flying into barricade. That's when McIntyre hit the Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keep going on with those numbers. When we needed a new referee, right? A new referee did come down. Not sure what it was like live, obviously, but watching it on TV, you couldn't see this person's head, and he went 1 and he went 2, and as there's some ups and downs, we can check out on What Culture right now. Please head over to What Culture Wrestling, when the camera finally did turn around. It wasn't Shane McMahon, it was actually CM Punk. Now this sent everybody crazy, and listen, we had talked about this on the prediction show. Does CM Punk get involved? Does CM Punk not get involved? And I actually stood on ceremony, Mr. Wayne, and I decided the moment of Drew McIntyre winning in Scotland was probably more important. What do I know? Absolutely nothing, and I should be shot out of a cannon. Now, right after this, Drew decided, I love Drew's immediate reaction was, I'm going to murder this man, and he started strangling him, but he did forget about his testicles, so CM Punk kicked him right in there, and he must have booted him pretty hard, because Damian Priest had taken his Phoenix down, big old choke slam, 1, 2, 3, CM Punk just looked like the Cheshire Cat here, running away, and I actually think there's 2 things you should watch on social, 3 things you should watch on social media that really add to the gravitas on this. 1, Drew McIntyre's reaction, him and Wade Barrett have this meltdown. I don't want to say it felt real, but it really added some moxie to the whole thing. 2, the fact that it was CM Punk that essentially stole a referee shirt to run out. Massive kudos for WWE to thinking to include that within the story arc. And 3, everything CM Punk said in the post-press conference afterwards, when he essentially I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I am never going to allow Drew McIntyre to be the champion as long as I'm hanging around. So they have a beef. They hate each other. Again, we're absolutely putting CM Punk in the haters of the year when it comes to 2024. I think Drew is number 1 still, and I think AJ is number 2. But I think Punk probably moves into number 3 because he took a page out of Styles' book. He flew to Scotland to hope that there was a moment he could interfere before pretending to be a referee and not allowing Drew McIntyre to get the win. It's just wonderful, wonderful stuff. And this is why I think when you start looking towards SummerSlam or Hot WrestleMania, you can get more out of this, because CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is now so heated and they have been such idiots to each other, it doesn't need a title. And actually putting a championship on one of them before they do clash for the first time, I think takes away some of the jeopardy. Because if one of them is a champion, sometimes you just get a feeling about when WWE is going to change the belt. There are asterisks, such as this one, because Drew was in Scotland, so well, of course he's going to win. When it's just mano a mano, what do? I don't know. And that makes it way more exciting. But on the other end, Damian Priest getting the victory and still being the World Heavyweight Championship probably means he can hold on to that till SummerSlam, and he can be the guy to take on Gunther. Maybe he's even the guy that Gunther beats, because if Drew was champion, you're either doing Gunther and Drew at SummerSlam, and CM Punk also said he thinks he's going to get cleared next week, so if that's the case, you've got to do that at SummerSlam instead. You could even make it the main event for all I care, depending on what you're doing with Cody. So does that mean that you would have to take the belt off McIntyre before we get to August? Do you want to do that? I think it's a bad idea. Doing it this way, I just think it's just so cleaner. It's so much cleaner, because again, they just have such heat between them now. That match is going to be off the charts, and we can try and continue to elevate Damian Priest, who did an amazing job at Clash of the Castle. And obviously Gunther is right on the cusp of all of that. So I just think you're treating your whole roster as main eventers rather than kind of shoving a few people into that position, which is what WWE used to do. We also need to shout out Damian Priest, by the way, who went to do a dive at one point. I'm closing my eyes, it was so bad, and he got his foot caught in the ropes. I don't know if he's injured for real, but he was definitely limping around. I think some of that was legit, but fair play to that man for continuing, and also he totally brought it here. And once again, there are extenuating circumstances, Scotland, hometown hero, but he lived up to everything that he had to live up to, and Drew McIntyre is just, I just think Drew McIntyre gets wrestling. I can imagine, he must have known about this creative before he signed his new deal. I'm just guessing, I have no idea, it's all speculation. But I bet he loved this because, listen, I'm not on the level of Drew McIntyre, and I likely never will be. But even in my own wrestling life, when I get pitched an angle like this and I know it's going to murk me over, when you actually think about the show and you think about the future and you think about the feud and you think about the fans, you can't help it. And there has been, I don't want to bore you with my stuff, but I did a feud with Tate Mayfair's, again, just debuted at AEW recently. Shout out to Tate. Shouldn't do that. Hate him, obviously. But we had this year-long program and I lost the last match for reasons I can't tell you right now. It'll all tie in. But that was my idea. Because, well, again, I can't talk about it more than that. But sometimes you just have these light bulbs that go off in your head and you go, man, that's way more fun than doing the opposite. So I'm sorry if you're mad at this. Although I'm not sorry, because I think wrestling should be about emotions, and now you should get mad at me and I can retort to you again. I love the conversational points. And I do understand the rage, but I love it when wrestling does stuff like this, especially when it's embodied in sense. Like, this wasn't a swerve for a swerve. This is where I think the two major differences between Vince and Triple H come into play. A lot of Vince McMahon stuff like this was done just for the sake of it, e.g. Brock Lesnar telling up Money in the Bank and winning. You know, why did that happen? Whereas this, it has layers and it has history and it has nuance. I mean, not a lot of nuance because it's wrestling, but it has some nuance, and it should actually add further character development to Drew McIntyre. And I think that's way more important than him winning titles or him winning championships. But you know, you're absolutely allowed to have your own opinion as well. I just knew that when this premium live event was over, I was excited about coming on here and sharing my opinions and getting your opinions back. And it still would have been awesome if Drew McIntyre would have won it. Like, it would have made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. But in terms of wanting to be more of a fan that just goes on this roller coaster rides and let things sort of, you know, filter through me, I just think this was the best way to go, especially because I think WWE has earned our faith with Cody Rhodes. Like, I didn't know what to think of the WrestleMania 39 thing, and my constant point was always, as long as he wins it at WrestleMania 40, it's a couple of thumbs up, and he did win it at WrestleMania 40. So now I think Drew McIntyre will become the world champion, and I've got this stupid idea in my head that he should now win Money in the Bank and cash that in, because it makes him an even bigger hypocrite, because he's the guy that says, man, people keep cashing in this stuff on me, it really annoys me. And if somehow Punk could be the champion, great. But that is such fantasy booking. That's mad. That's nuts. That's just stupid. But it's fun to be stupid when we come to fantasy booking. And there's also a rumor going around that WWE wants to bring back the Bad Blood pay-per-view for October. I know CM Punk got mad at this at the press conference. Rightfully so, by the way. The question made me giggle. It was such a Reddit question, but more power to the guy that asked it. You wanted to ask it, and you found it in your Tootsie Toes. You could, depending what we do at SummerSlam, put them in a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. Once again, maybe the title's on the line, maybe it's not on the line. I think those two, much like the dog collar match that CM Punk had with MJF, I think that could be really good. And I think that could be one for the ages. So it's definitely a couple of thumbs up from me. I thought this was really, really good. And I'm secretly happy that Damian Priest is still the champion, even though I still wanted to see Drew McIntyre get his moment in his hometown or his home country. So yeah, just awesome. CM Punk was wearing a Celtic jersey. The post-match press conference. If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't worry about it. But yeah, awesome stuff. I think it also ties into the tag team match. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Isla Dawn, and Alba Fire. I said this on ups and downs as well. I'm trying to tread carefully here because I don't want to be too gratuitous with it, and if I am, I'm so damn sorry. And my predictions suck because I said no way are Isla Dawn and Alba Fire going to win. But they did win, and they did the whole thing where technically Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair had won, but Isla Dawn was waiting, and she picked the bones, as Michael Cole said when she pinned Shayna Baszler after Shayna had taken all the finishes, and maybe tapped out Jade Cargill as well. Like, I thought that was a mistake, but the commentators did talk about it, so we'll have to see how that one plays out. Although I'd like that. It's good to give Shayna something. She's awesome. But I didn't realize until all this happened and there was a bunch of news stories about it that Alba Fire's mother had passed away a month ago in a tragic car accident. Now, I don't know whether this match or this win was planned before that or after that, but when I hear news like that, this is how my brain works. And again, you can say, Simon, you're a loser, you're an idiot, hold my hands up, I totally agree with you. But when you get the human side of wrestling and you see it somewhat pasted on the wrestling canvas, that is so much more important to me than who wins a belt, who doesn't win a belt, what we do here, what we do there. Because here, in that moment, in our hometown, think of all the hours that, you know, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, of course, too, has put into this. To give them that opportunity just to soak it all in, there's nothing more important than that. There's really not. Even if she had whooped Jade Cargill's ass and beaten her 1, 2, 3, I would have been totally cool with it. So I just thought, maybe nice isn't the right word, but there was something special about it at the same time. Again, wrestling is the most important of the least important things. It could go away tomorrow and we'd all figure out a way to move on, which is probably why we should stop talking going, oh, Jade Cargill botched a move. Yes, she did. She fell off a springboard. Have you ever tried a springboard? It's super duper hard. And also that's why it's called high risk. If you don't call it high risk, and you can't expect someone to do it all the time and then it'd be called high risk. Otherwise it'd just be high. There would be no risk to it. More power for her for trying. I thought she was awesome in the first half of the match. And yeah, she kind of lost her way after she had done that. I would have been the same. It's like when you fall over in the street. You don't get back up and start strutting. You feel awful and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, nobody look at me. I just don't care. And I think we have to move past this stuff, but people jump on it because they're absolute goobers. You know what? You're allowed to do that too, but maybe just remember she's a human being too. Otherwise, I mean, it was a match of two halves, right? Stupid thing to say, makes no sense whatsoever, but it was all right. Really enjoyed Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. Putting them first just told you that AJ Styles was never going to win. Imagine Cody lost his championship in the first match at Clash at the Castle, but man, did they put their working boots on. AJ Styles just whooped his tuchus, was going to hit Mama Rhodes at one point, and Mama Rhodes hit him instead. After the fact, we found out that flipping AJ Styles is going to Noah, so that's exciting considering we have the TNA connections too. They fought backstage. You almost saw Triple H. We had chairs, we had tables. AJ Styles took a cartoon Looney Tunes fall when he was going for the phenomenal forearm. There's other stuff we haven't yet thought about, and I like the finish too. Cody Rhodes used handcuffs against AJ Styles because he'd introduced him to the match. Hits him over the time with a chair. And then when he's about to murder him with Simba the Steel Steps, AJ's like, I don't want that because I don't want to die, which is a fair point. And some people have said, well, that's the same finish to Edge and Christian or Adam Copeland and Christian. Maybe that's what they got the idea from. And you know what? If WWE has a good idea, AEW should borrow it. And if AEW has a good idea, WWE should borrow it. It's like active reloading Gears of War. I'm not going to talk about it because I always talk about it, but that's how we should do it. But Cody wins. This was more about the aftermath because not only did Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline attack him, which sounds like we are going to do Solo versus Cody, or maybe we're going to do the Bloodline versus Cody, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, which is also cool. When Randy Orton and Kevin Owens made the save, Randy Orton was looking at that World Championship, so we planted those seeds as well. So okay, you got a great match, arguably with not a lot of jeopardy, but you got all these things afterwards. I can't get mad at it, and it really set up the pay-per-view for me, premium live event, and for the rest of the 3 hours on the dot, by the way, which I also appreciate. I just had a good time, and that's why I watched, to be entertained. I like Bayley versus Piper Niven as well. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's just nice that Piper Niven got this moment in Scotland. Piper Niven? Piper Niven got this moment, but she was never going to win. I mean, talking about jeopardy, there was just no way we were going to do this, especially because Nia Jax is already in the books for SummerSlam. But again, it's about moments, man. And Piper Niven had her moment, but also Chelsea Green had her moment because after she had been banished from being a goober and interfering, all she did as a disguise to try and get back into it was wear a Rey Mysterio mask. It was the exact same clothes. I said this on Ups and Downs or SmackDown. Again, check out What Culture Wrestling. Subscribe to me, subscribe to them. You get all of my stupid wrestling thoughts all the time. But she is the maximizer of minutes. And that's a dumb thing to say, but I'm going to keep saying it. Nobody understands how to utilize their character in television time as much as Chelsea Green. She's so entertaining. And she's probably involved for, 35 seconds maximum? It also led to the big tease when Bayley went to get her and Piper Niven hit the Piper driver. But, 1, 2, ooh. Bayley basically does the surprise roll-up, the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, and gets the 3. Again, I just enjoyed it for what it was, and given that the main event came after this, maybe it was just like, everyone calm down because you're about to go crazy. And Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship was just excellent in terms of what WWE tries to do. They got me with that Chaos Theory suplex when Sami Zayn almost took out Maxine Dupree again. I genuinely thought Chad was going to win. Plus, you had everything with Otis. He was going to beat up Sami Zayn. Like, Otis' MO right now is you just don't attack Maxine. He doesn't care who you are. There was also smaller things, like when Sami Zayn went to do a dive and Chad pulled Otis in the way, but then Gable did his moonsault to the outside. He took out Otis and Chad Gable. He doesn't care, man. He's a horrible person. And you had the thing at the end too when Sami Zayn was in the ankle lock. Sami Zayn was in the ankle lock. Chad Gable got reversed out of it, and Sam basically pushed him into Maxine Dupree, and she hit her ankle again. And he was going to smack Sami Zayn again because, again, that's Otis' big old thing. When Maxine said, please don't do it, he picked her up. They were walking to the back. Chad Gable couldn't handle this because something happened outside the wrestling ring. He gets hit with the louver kick, 1, 2, 3. Now, in my predictions too, I had said that I 100% thought that Chad Gable was going to win. But doing it this way, especially the look that he had on his face at the end, he was so damn mad. Like when people go, Simon, why don't you have any hair? Why do you look like Johnny Sins? It's not funny anymore. But I think he's now probably going to go murderous on the Alpha Academy. And he's going to probably unite the creeds or, hire them up, which we have been teasing on TV. And he's going to go absolutely crazy, Chad Gable, win a bunch of matches. We'll probably do it again at SummerSlam after Sami Zayn has another feud, and Chad Gable can win there. It was excellent. In terms of, the thing is, the only reason I'd put it above the AJ Styles Cody Rhodes match is because this had real jeopardy. It's why I probably put the main event up there too. I didn't actually know who was going to win. They really had me on tenterhook. But either way, as an entire card, there was something about this that really hooked me. Maybe it's because it was on a random Saturday night and I enjoyed that. Maybe it's because usually when there's a show on these shores, I will go. Again, I won't bore you with the reasons why not. So that was a novelty too, although I'd rather be there, of course. But I thought it was a really good show. And I think coming out the back, especially because there was a tease for the Uncle Howdy group, who surely are debuting on Raw, that was hugely teased. We have a lot of fun coming out of this. And then it's Money in the Bank. Qualifiers start this week too, or next week. And then it's right into SummerSlam. I think we may have a 2-month, 3-month block here, which is an absolutely roller coaster ride. And it's all going to be led by CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, who are now cleared to be back on TV. Raw's definitely missed them. Seth Rollins will be back soon, hopefully too. So just excellent all around. And please, look, get in those comments. I know you think I'm wrong about the Drew McIntyre thing, but tell me, just be nice, right? It's just my opinion. What do I know? Nothing. I deserve absolutely nothing in my life. I agree with you. Die, die, die. There we go. I've got the craziness out the way. And also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which actually I'm going to put as my predictions. Go back and see how wrong I was. I think I got every single one wrong, apart from Bayley, which does make me laugh. And Cody Rhodes, obviously. Not 2 out of 5. It ain't so bad. Otherwise, what else do you do? Oh, you go to grillermind.com/Simon. Use code Simon, get 10% off. Again, these are my fitness supplements. I love them. I'm really good, so I'm going to pimp them out. Otherwise, yeah, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Simon Miller. Get your 2+2 potato shirt, which is a stupid thing that I say. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 on all social media. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon on Cameo. It's Father's Day today. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the UK, but around the world too. I'm happy to do one of those if you see it and go, oh, that would be a nice present. And there's other stuff as well. All the links are in the description below. Otherwise, that's it. Take care, my friends. Go to What Culture now. See you soon.